The Morrigan, also known as the Phantom Queen or Morrigan, is one of the most complex and multifaceted figures in Irish mythology, spanning various roles and characteristics, including that of a goddess of war, fate, and death. Here, I will elucidate on her origins, stories, and how she was perceived throughout history. Origins and characteristics. The Morrigan is often conceived as a triple goddess, comprising the individuals Barb, Macha, and Namain, or sometimes Anand. These figures are interconnected in the mythology and sometimes are interchangeable. Her roots are deep in the Celtic pre-Christian mythology, which is echoed in medieval Irish texts, depicting her as a member of the Tuatha De Danann, a group of supernatural beings who were worshipped as deities. Mythological accounts. 1. Role in the mythological cycle. In the ancient texts comprising the mythological cycle, the Morrigan often appears as a figure foretelling doom or death, involving herself in the affairs of humans and gods alike, usually through foretelling the outcome of battles and wars. She sometimes uses her shape-shifting ability to influence the outcomes, transforming into a crow or raven, animals associated with battle and death. 2. The Ulster cycle. In the tales of the Ulster cycle, she has a notable appearance in the Tain Bo Cuailnge, the cattle raid of Cooley. In this story, she offers her love to the hero Cuchulainn, but he fails to recognize her and rejects her advances. In retaliation, she intervenes in his battle, first hindering and then aiding him. Eventually, it is prophesied that Cuchulainn will die young, a prophecy that comes true, with Morrigan appearing as a harbinger of his death. Symbolism and worship. The Morrigan was often associated with the sovereignty of the land itself, representing the landscape of Ireland in a literal and figurative sense. Her connections to rivers, lakes, and fertile earth underscore her as a deity who is deeply intertwined with the health and prosperity of the land. She was believed to have the power to grant kingship and sovereignty and, in some interpretations, is viewed as a protector of the land and its people. Later, perceptions and Christian influence. With the advent of Christianity in Ireland, the role and perception of the Morrigan and other figures from Celtic mythology were likely altered and diminished. The Christian texts, which record these myths, often do so with a certain degree of skepticism and reinterpretation, situating the old gods and goddesses as historical figures, diminished in stature and power rather than as divine beings. Modern revival and neo-paganism. In modern times, there has been a resurgence in interest in Celtic mythology and spirituality, including the worship and veneration of figures like the Morrigan. Many neo-pagan traditions, including some forms of Wicca, have reincorporated the Morrigan into their pantheons and practices, sometimes emphasizing her role as a goddess of magic, fertility, and death. In contemporary literature, art, and media, the Morrigan often appears as a representation of feminine power and sovereignty, a complex figure who embodies the multifaceted nature of the divine feminine. Conclusion. The Morrigan is a rich and deeply complex figure in Irish mythology, embodying themes of war, death, sovereignty, and the land itself. Her stories and imagery continue to captivate people to this day, representing a force that is both fearsome and nurturing, a guardian of her people and a harbinger of change and transformation. The figure of the Morrigan encourages us to look deeper into the nuances of life, death, and the intricate web of relationships that bind all things.